Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and... Sorry, had my speaker on there in accent. Apologize about that. So good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Alrighty, so we will get ready to rock and roll on today. Obviously, we're going to start with the market, and then we'll dive into everything there and after. So good morning, Anna, my, hello, Andrew, Kelly, Mir, my, Doug, and Mr. Freak. Good morning. Alrighty, so yesterday ended up, analysis from yesterday ended up being fairly good, all said and done. We're going to pop on here. Thank you guys for already hitting the like button. We got about a 50% like ratio, which is really good. That's very good to have about a 50% ratio, because I notice on most of my past videos, we tend to get like a 10% ratio. So if there was like, for example, 1,000 views, we get like 100. If there was 3,000, we get 300. So the fact that we're at about a 50 to almost 100% ratio so far is phenomenal. I appreciate you guys so much for that. So let's run over the market. We'll run over the Nasdaq. Obviously, we'll talk about AMC. Mogo's a penny stock running this morning. FULC was a stock that ran yesterday from earnings we can touch on. Obviously, we'll probably look at mRNA because I believe that went down pretty big, all said and done by the end of the day yesterday. Might have continuation today. And those are some of the main things on the top of my head this morning. And of course, we will get to discussing whatever it is that you guys also would like to take a look at some point too. I'm really not sure what happened to YouTube when the number jumped to 600 and then went to 400. I really don't know. But like out of curiosity, let me, just because I kind of want to see it again, I'm actually going to pull up yesterday's stream video, and I'm going to find out when the stream did that. So give me a second, because I haven't actually re-looked at it since it happened. So give me a sec. Trying to find it. It's got to be right. Got to be about here. Yeah. So... yeah, this is what happened yesterday if you're not already familiar with what happened here. So check this. So let's fast forward. So right about here. Yeah, this is what happened yesterday in the stream. You can see that popped from like 4 up to almost 700 people, and then it just kicked right back off down to 400. So we'll track the stream today. We'll see where those numbers get. You can see it was at 663 there. Look at it. See how it says 663 and then it jumps down back to 400. So very odd. Don't know if it was a glitch, but very, very odd. So I'll keep tabs on it today. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's get into the market now. Alrighty, so this is the SPY. As you can see yesterday, up move, down, back up, back down. So pretty much a flat sideways day for the market, okay? So again, pretty much the past week we've just been mentioning we don't really see a whole lot being very crazy until the market snaps, because we've really just been riding the statistical mean for like weeks now. So the analysis on the market's pretty straightforward, very choppy, very hard to maneuver at this point. So it's just kind of riding, all right? The only thing we can really say is the market's riding the mean. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. For the past 13 trading days, we've pretty much been riding the statistical mean on the daily chart and the 4-hour chart of the S&P 500. So currently, right now, the support may be the resistance of the market, depending on the way that this is situated when I change time frames. We will have our levels to look at in about a second. So right now, market probably going to be seeing resistance anywhere in, basically, if the market retraces up into this point, 44.59 to 44.42.70. I think that's kind of what the target is. I think the market's trying to bounce back up into this zone today and then maybe see some resistance. Again, it's been a very hard market because we've just been trading sideways. So we've seen the markets move to some of these price targets, then go above, then shift back through. So again, it's just a very choppy market around the mean. Don't really see an explosive day in the market. Part of me is just kind of just expecting more of just a ho-hum market for now until something causes a snap. So what that snap will be, don't know. When it happens, we'll be all on top of it. Okay. No, crew, I see your morning. It says morning all. So you're saying take a look at Apple today? I will take a look at Apple. We got to touch on the Nasdaq, but again, it's probably going to be the same thing you just heard me say, but I just still need to check it for my own sanity. Okay, so popping on over to the Nasdaq now. All right, so the Nasdaq actually took a slight little tumble yesterday. So that actually broke down, which kind of gives me the feel that maybe we are trying to see some sort of correction or bearish move to come soon. You will notice if you look at the Nasdaq on the 4-hour chart, which will give you earlier signals than a daily chart, you will notice that the market has been diverging bearishly since the date of 6/28. So all new highs into the market on the Nasdaq have been on negative momentum, sort of. So that's kind of an early sign that we might be getting weakness in the market. So nonetheless, I'm less bullish the market, especially on the Nasdaq right now, maybe slightly more neutral to bearish. So resistance right now on the Nasdaq is priced at 369.23, 368, and yeah, it's probably about it for now. And then we have supports down at about 361. So, and let me check the other one here real quick. And here. So the current level where I'd be really, probably most likely to consider a dip buy within the short term would probably be down here. So that's kind of the bearish target for me in the market. I believe, on a down move, we'll probably see the markets decrease on the Nasdaq into 361 to 359, and then that's where a short-term dip buy is going to be located when it happens. So for right now, pretty much neutral / bearish the market. Only would really consider a dip buy, probably the Nasdaq down into this zone as it comes up. Okay. How do I think the infrastructure bill will impact the market? I mean, if you're talking about how the money being used will actually change the future of the economy, then that's probably slightly for the benefit, because obviously anytime you take a bunch of money and spend a bunch of money and get a bunch of new stuff, obviously that's a good thing in terms of new stuff, maybe lasting longer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully the money is spent and obviously it goes to where it's supposed to, because that would be a good thing. How it would affect the actual stock market, that's already been calculated in. That was already done a long time ago. So the market has already calculated, priced in infrastructure bill, and that's already calculated, baked into the current market conditions. But that infrastructure bill and the money coming to the market has yet to actually reach the hands of the true economy. So in the future, obviously, people will get jobs as the government contracts out work to wherever this money is going to go. And last night they did pass it. I believe it was last night they passed it. There was a lot of reductions in the infrastructure bill. I think they cut communications. I could bring up the chart. I'm kind of brain farting, but I know they cut communications. I know they put a lot of money towards transportation, pollution, and there was something else. I could bring up a chart of it. But I kind of thought it was funny, because the climate change is real. All right, climate change is real. That's what I read everywhere. So a lot of scientists say it's real, whether you believe it's not or it is or it isn't, it doesn't really matter, right? The funny part of all of it is that I actually just saw something last night about climate change, and now scientists are like, there's no way to reverse it. The Earth is going to heat up for X amount of years going forward. We can only reverse the heat after about this many years if we do this now. So I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good. And if that's how bad it really is, then I'm really surprised that in this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, that most of the money wasn't going towards combating pollution and everything. Because realistically, if you're telling me the world's going to end very soon, then I would probably be doing everything I could to stop that, which means I'd probably use most of that $1.2 trillion to do that. So it just seems kind of odd to me, but again, I'm not the government. I don't run the world. I can't make the decisions and understand what people with that much power are really trying to do. But again, that was kind of something that was kind of stood out to me, was odd. But nonetheless, maybe tomorrow what we'll do is I'll pull up the infrastructure bill and where all the money's going, and you can take a look at it. But jobs will be created from it in the future. But in terms of pricing into the stock market, it's probably already been baked in. That's normally how that whole game works. Okay. Alrighty. Next thing on the list that I would like to talk about is Mogo. All right, so Mogo is a penny stock here. You will see that it just did a bull flag breakout, right? So anytime you get a bull flag breakout, a lot of times it's going to be happening through a deviation. So if we kind of shrink this chart down a little bit, go like this, you will see there was a bull flag. So a lot of people would have traded the bull flag here kind of through the trend line break, which isn't wrong. That's another way of doing it. But the true bigger breakout actually happens as the market crosses through the -1 deviation mark. You can see right there that trend line. There's a lot of shit on my chart, I'm sorry. But you can see that little orange trend line. That's where the break happened this morning, and the market then went where? Market ran all the way up to the half deviation. So let me just delete this really quickly, get some fresh lines on the chart. So today, Mogo receives news of something. What was it? So this morning, Mogo shares are trading higher. Company in order quarter two sales of 13.7 million, up for 7.62 million a year over year, and raised quarter four subscriptions and services revenue growth guidance 80% to 100% to 100% to 110%, etc. Raises quarter four guidance. Stock pops. You will notice that as that all happens, the stock jumped through the -1 deviation mark, which is priced at $6.20. It then moved up 50% of its deviation. Again, a deviation or a calculation of just one, ladies and gentlemen, this is, so to speak, how the market works when it moves. The move from the white line to the orange line would be 1. And where the price of Mogo went today, pre-market, its top, would be 50% of that move. So essentially, Mogo ran 50% of one deviation this morning. So that being said, the current resistance you're seeing on Mogo is happening right at the 50%. I don't want to say retracement because it's not really retracing, it's running. So it's running to the 50% mark on the upside, which exists right here at 735 to 768. So for me today, right now, this is going to be your resistance zone from 770s to 740s-ish. In the event you're really, really lucky today with Mogo, it's possible that you could get up to the regression level. I would not bank on that because I just don't think that's going to happen. But in the event the market is extremely lucky today, you could see a price target of $8.49 to about $9 on Mogo. Now, the only way that that's going to happen is if enough people come into the stock on Mogo today to get bearish and the short sellers are wrong. Inevitably, the market makers force a short. Oh, that's classic. Oh, that's classic. So again, if enough shorts pile in, market makers force them out and squeeze them, then it's possible to reach at 8.49 to 9. But that would take some time. The market would still need more time to set up. So that being said, we'll see if that all comes to. All right, taking a couple seconds, just running. Let's see. Wish and Chewy. Another update. As I said before, I am going to do a little playlist. I do believe with the near future, we are going to change over the branding of the YouTube channel slightly a bit. Because you can notice that the name of the channel is The Boiler Room, and then we also have the logo and branding on it, usually Boiler Room Trading. So I think we're just going to remove the Boiler Room Trading from it, and it's just going to be The Boiler Room with some new branding, but then of course it's still linked to Boiler Room Trading. But nonetheless, because we're trying to evolve it into more of an all-around finance channel. But anyways, so we do have a playlist coming up soon, which is basically going to track me and every step that I've gone through to create a small Turo car rental business for myself. Not too much more I'm going to go into that right now, but I am going to be doing a playlist which is basically going to go from the start of market research, buying products, setting up an LLC, setting up a business bank account, EIN number, showing you well, I don't know if we'll get to that, but all that, purchasing the cars, marketing them, running them online, receiving revenues, tracking expenses, connecting that to business bank accounts, getting business bank account credit cards to build business credit, and then also to make sure that all your expenses go through your business account so you can keep track of your finances and accounting very simply for your business. So that should be a pretty cool watch list if anybody's really interested in business too. So that will come to, and I've decided, I did my research yesterday, I'm really starting to dive in onto the vehicles and things that I want to do, how much money I want to put forth, what we're going to finance, the rates of financing, the cars that we're not going to finance and buy out fully so that we cash flow instantly. So it really should be, and then how I've worked myself into partnerships, different technology that you need to use to manage the company prop. So it's going to be awesome. I think so. So that will be coming soon too. All right. So let me write down the next couple tickers here. There was ZEV, I think was one of them somebody asked about. ZEV. Tickle is complete. We got 262 people here. All we got to do is get all of you guys just to tickle that like button real quick. So we will look at Wish. We will look at Chewy. PFE, good start to a short. I think we talked about, I think Mr. Montero was a gentleman in here yesterday who asked me about PFE, and it's funny that you just now said, Delta Pro Master, you said PFE looks like a good short. Just yesterday we said we should start to consider being more bearish into the stock PFE overall as opposed to being exceptionally long bias. So it's good that you're starting to think like that. Good rise on EHTH or ETH, CBR. I'm on the verge of getting up on stocks. Wayne Hudson. Give it about a couple weeks. There's a portfolio that I'm going to be building, which is very simple. When I say building, I mean literally it's so simple that you will be able to follow it. Your grandma that's in her grave already does follow it. It's so simple. It's so easy. You put money in. You never think about it. It grows very slowly. When it goes down very slowly. And the only way you're really going to lose money with it is if the entire stock market crashes. And then in that case, everybody's losing money. And the only people that probably aren't losing money are all the insiders that already know of the move or the rug pull and the Federal Reserve, which is the one that will probably end up making the crash happen. So with that being said, before you totally give up, we might have a portfolio that you like that you can kind of just dabble with. It won't take too much work. Okay. Wayne Hudson, they hate you. Yes, we will look at Apple, Zev. I'm just making sure PayPal, AMD, those are good ones. Again, I just always try to do my best to get most of the comments and most of the important tickers that I feel are worth talking about. Predict that CPI will come in at 5.6 to 6. Yeah, Samuel, I believe those are the numbers that have been kind of floating around of discussion. All right, Nvidia and ZM. All right, so we're going to start here with the super chat request, of course, because that is a payment for my services. So I do appreciate that, and I appreciate you. So I got a couple tickers written down here. We're going to jam this out really quickly. Let me get my charts kind of situated. We're going to pull this down. Oh, it's this one. There we go. All right, we're going to start with Nvidia. All right, so Nvidia had that pullback not too long ago, then it hit the mean, and then it bounced. All right, I need to delete my old drawings. All right, so if you look at this chart, you'll know why Nvidia is pulling back. When Nvidia had come back up to the previous top. So from a typical retail investing perspective, the average investor would say Nvidia went up to here, it pulled back, it bounced, and now it's having resistance because it came back to the previous high or the previous top. So it's doing a double top thing. Correct. Also, more importantly, the market had retraced back up to the +1 deviation resistance mark. That deviation resistance mark existed near the highs, hence why the price retraced back to the highs. If in the event the trend of the +1 deviation was down here, then the retrace probably only would have been to here and then down. So the reason we have sort of a double top move is because the market chose to retrace to the +1 deviation mark. So now it appears we're on sort of a downswing. In order for Nvidia to continue going higher, you need a break above the +1 deviation mark. So your +1 deviation mark going forward from today will be your new breakout level into new highs that you're most likely going to want to track to see if and when Nvidia crosses above and remains having control above the +1 deviation mark. On the downside, you right now have a half deviation support existing at about 192. You might have something else. Let me change the time frame. Okay, so when we look at the time frame, you will also notice right where we mark the +1 deviation, you also have a half deviation. So theoretically, there is two slight resistances right around the price of 204 that you would have to break above and or stay above to be forcing a new breakout into highs on Nvidia. You will also notice that just below the half deviation price we marked on the chart for Nvidia, we have a solid statistical mean. We have a regression level there. So this is probably going to be the lower risk dip buy section for Nvidia currently. So in the event Nvidia continues this sell-off and you see it retrace down to prices of 192.30 to 191.53, this is most likely an accumulation zone on the day where you would look to be more long bias as opposed to being bearish. All right. For exact intraday movement for the day, I would think it's hard to say because again, that's my resistance up there. This is my support. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to snap right away or bounce up right away. That's always the confusing part, trying to figure out which way the market will shift. And so right now we do have what's called a half candle retrace level at 201.27. So in the event the market does want to be bearish AMD and it starts with the long push first and then falls apart. You ever notice when some days markets will open, stock just rips up and then it drops and then it continues fading for the day? And it's like, what the hell? A lot of times that move will end up going up to what's called the half candle retrace level, which is the 50% retracement of the previous trading day's action plotted into the current day's trading action. So at 201.29, that would also be a resistance level that I would follow in the event the market shifts up first and runs there. That's also a level you would pay attention to for a rejection on the day. Okay. Now, of course, anything related to Nvidia, bigger cap stocks will all have movement with the market. So if the Nasdaq or the SPY ends up having a bearish day, then the likelihood of the analysis on Nvidia having a bearish day would be higher. Okay. We have 150 likes and 300 viewers. So that means we're at about a 50% like ratio, which is really good. I'm giving you my own thumbs up for that. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. All right, we're going to pop on over to Zoom here real quickly. Okay, so Zoom just recently kind of did like a double top formation. You will also notice there's a half deviation currently where that double top existed, but that could have been different. So I don't know if I really want to talk too much on that. So again, we did sort of a double top. Nvidia is rolling down, or sorry, Zoom is rolling downwards from the 4-hour chart, we don't have statistical support down until this price. Well, that's the mean. So mean support, half deviation support, +1 deviation resistance. And let me change the time frame really quickly. Half deviation potential support, and then support. So in the event somehow Nvidia ends up rolling all the way down and sideways, continuing bearish, the counter trend bounce probably won't exist, or won't have like a good one, until you see a price of $340 on Zoom. All right, and then if we look at the 1-minute chart now, what is that? It was a half deviation, 1 deviation, half deviation, 1 deviation. So today, for for ZM to stay bearish, I believe what we'd want to see is, ideally, you don't want Zoom to go over this level, right? I don't think Zoom's really going to get through this level here at 375. I think it's going to stay below 375. It will roll below 371, and then maybe even try to target down to 326. We'll see. Again, if the market's bearish, it will help that sentiment. The other thing is you still have the half candle retrace level up at 370.97. So I guess I'm really just going to be saying this is probably the resistance zone you would look at today on Zoom. The breakdown level for Zoom is probably at 370, and with a dramatic fade out, we probably don't have support on Zoom until about 356. Okay. Tamer, if you would, or if you could, send me maybe like an email with basically some of your cars or any info you have on it, so I can look, maybe the pricing of your insurance as well. Because, you know, I've been in contact with at least someone who's been doing it in the greater Detroit area for a couple of years now. You know, has up to, I think he maybe had 20 cars at one point. You know, and he's been doing it for over, 4 years. So obviously there's a way to make money doing it, or else these people wouldn't be doing it. So if it's possible and you could send me some info as to reasons why it didn't work out for you, then that would help me better navigate through it as well. And then also, you can depreciate your cars too, so there are tax benefits. So that's also another thing that you would want to make sure that you're doing, is making sure that you're using the depreciation schedule of your depreciating assets to knock down your tax liabilities. So that could also be another reason, not necessarily it, but that also helps generate profits and or revenues long term. So there are some taxing benefits that you need to take advantage of to also up that profit potential and or revenue as well. It's not as simple to put a like on my TV. Alrighty, so let's pop on over to Apple AAPL. That's going to be next on the list. So AAPL sells over yesterday, probably about the same time the market sold down. This is also the other reason why I always emphasize why it's extremely important to watch the overall stock market. Again, if you watch and look at the Nasdaq, you will see that the Nasdaq started to break down yesterday at about the time of 10:13. You will see that the Apple started to break down at about 10:20. So again, the market falls apart at 10, 10:13, 10:20, and then Apple falls apart at 10:24. Okay. Market spiking up, so might have just got some numbers. Yep, CPI month over month expecting 0.5, actual 0.5. CPI core month over month expecting 0.4, actual 0.3. CPI year over year expecting 5.3, actual 5.4. CPI core year over year expecting 4.3, actual 4.3. So for the year, CPI year over year as opposed to core, there has been an increase of 0.1%. Not a big surprise. Okay, so with Apple, let's take a look. Look at where the market has ran up to. Look at where the Nasdaq went. Remember how we said these are probably like your long resistance targets. So if market pops up, should go to about these prices. Again, there you have it. Okay, so Apple just spiked up with the market. Kind of looks like it's rolling over. Yeah, I don't really think there's a whole lot to do with Apple right now myself. Only reason I say that is because we have been trading sideways into Apple. It does kind of look like a divergence. That's why I did that. Yeah. Let me check the other time frame here. So yeah, I mean, you have a resistance zone on Apple from like 147 to 149, but I don't really think that's gonna happen. Yeah, this is a hard read right now. I think I would stay long Apple as long as the market's on the up for the time being. But, you know, like I said, if Apple ends up getting up into the prices of 368 and then all the way up to 369, I think you got to be a little bit more bearish there. Yeah, for right now, I have resistance all the way up at 146.89 on Apple. So this would be a level where I'd consider being bearish off of. And then the support level I have, or two of them, start at 144.35 and all the way down to 142.78. All right, popping on over to Wish. I'm going to start making these significantly faster, so they're not going to have quite as much detail. Probably going to run through them as quick as I can. So with Wish, people are basically looking for this to break upwards. Obviously, that's kind of what it looks like. So I would say a good chunk of the market is hoping that you get over the price of about 1050 or so relatively soon. One second. Yeah, I mean, they're basically everyone's trying to get over that top, and it's been struggling since. So it looks like tomorrow Wish will report earnings. So I would honestly probably just be on standby and then just look to see what the expected earnings move for Wish is tomorrow, and then you'll be able to see whether or not the range will break out of this or stay below it. But yeah, I don't really see. Yeah, nothing. I mean, you can see it traded sideways and down here, then a quick pop, and then it's down, and it's kind of sideways. The trend is down right now. So for me, I think you got to be bearish on Wish. I almost think that this bottom is going to give out, and you're going to roll down towards the mean, which could even bring you back towards $7. So yeah, I think the earnings is going to be relatively important here because the earnings can determine based on whether or not this market kind of starts to break up out of this little pattern or if it's going to start shifting the market down lower towards the statistical mean. So I think you can just kind of wait for the earnings announcement and see how Wish reacts to that before really trying to make a concrete decision. Chewy's at the statistical mean, so back here when the market was down here, I don't know if we looked at it, but this is where you should have been dip buying the market for a hold, and then your target should have been back up towards the statistical mean. So Chewy got back to the statistical mean, which is a good thing. Generally, you would see hesitation and or resistance here unless you're lucky. So I expect you're going to see hesitation and resistance on Chewy here. So I think I would be a little more bearish. But again, it's been such kind of a choppy mover. It's not like it's trending really nicely, so I don't expect really easy, fluent rejections. But nonetheless, I am slightly more bearish here because Chewy is at the statistical mean, and it's at the +1 deviation mark. So nonetheless, I would be watching Chewy slightly bearish, at least for now, until this really holds above 90.27. You can see we got the 90.27 rejected, went over, pulled back below, went back above, and then we pulled back too, and now we're holding above. So far, Chewy is holding above all that stuff I just talked about, but something tells me we're going to get a little bit of a pullback that brings it a little bit down. So nonetheless, I think Chewy is a long bias mover, but in the immediate, you might not get an instant gratification win. So that being said. All right, ZEV on this, well, something else here. Yeah, ZEV, this is something that spiked up yesterday, then it crashed. Remember we said this could have a target of 1250 yesterday? It hit here to 1209, and then later in the evening it hit 1229. So it almost hit the target we talked about. Yeah, I think you would stay more long bias on this for right now. I don't think you should really be... I don't think you're really supposed to be short bias on ZEV right now. So yeah, maybe ZEV still a target up to 1250, and then again, if we're more on the lucky side today of ZEV, then maybe it hits all the way up to its plus next level 1357. So overall, I mean, max targets for me would be up around 16. A lucky target today might be 1357, but for the time being, for pre-market going into the open, I think you do stay on the long side of ZEV, with the first price target being up to 1250, second price target being up to 1370, and a max target for the day being as high as 16. PYPL. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are up to about 336 regular viewers. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's try and get those likes all the way up to over 600. That's kind of our record. And really the goal is to see if we can get more than 468 recurring viewers, because that was the peak from yesterday. So again, YouTube has been keeping us around that 399, 400. So we got to get a breakout, right? We got to get up to 500, and then we'll know that at least we're slightly growing there. So with PayPal went through a dip, and then it's kind of done slight little double McGoo bottom. Alrighty. Yeah, sorry. PayPal is... It's not really on a deviation support. It's just bouncing from previous price action levels and because the market's going up. So I think you stay long PayPal right now, expecting a retrace to the half candle retrace level and or the deviation level, which is at 277.54. So I think you're a long bias on Apple today, or not Apple, PayPal, looking for the market to get back up to 276, 277. Done. 841 AMD next on the list. You know, I remember probably 2 years ago I was down at my neighbor's bar. I live on a lake, so a couple of the neighbors have their, you know, they have their like hut bar thing upside the lake. So every once in a while I'll be walking my dog and I'll get invited over for a drink. But anyways, one night I'm out and about, get invited over to my neighbor's house. So I'm sitting down having a couple beers, and you know, we get to talking about stocks, and someone's like, "What do you think I should be buying for, like, you know, however long?" And straight up, there was no hesitation. I said you should buy AMD, you should buy Nvidia, anything that has to do with graphics cards, your computer processing, all that. That's what you want to be long on. Sure enough, he bought AMD, and I think he made a good gain, and then he sold some, and I'm just like looking at it now. I'm like, God, I hate the stock market. It would have crushed it. Anyways, the belief is still there. I think long term, you're still going to see great growth in AMD and Nvidia and such stocks. you know, I mean, if you think about it, we got a bunch of these crazy scientists and tech guys, you know, these geeks. And when I say geeks, that's awesome because I wish I was that intelligent at times, but I'm not. So kudos to you geeks. But I mean, they're making robots and stuff that will probably end up killing off humans at some point. And all those robots need all those parts. All these cars need all these parts. I mean, if you look at my computer screens, I'm running 6 computer screens. You guys are running laptops. You have phones. So again, technology is not slowing down. Humans are dumb enough to advance technology to the point where it kills us off because we're too smart for our own good. So I would continue to believe that anything that has to do technology-based computer parts and equipment will continue to do very well, continuing on into the future. So anyways, AMD is popping up. You will see this morning it crossed the half deviation mark. So let's take a look at the daily chart. So if you remember, I think we said that you wanted, I think this was yesterday, I said you wanted to be long as the price got to like 104 to 102. Well, it looks like it only got to 104.60 and started to bounce. So nonetheless, AMD did not quite get as far as, well, maybe it did because this is a daily chart. So one second, let me go back to the 4 hour. So yesterday, these two red lines down here from 104 to about 103.20-ish, that was pretty much the desired level that you should have bought AMD yesterday. It never quite got into that zone, unfortunately. It kind of shied it. So we were close to calling the bottom, but not quite. Anyways, this is on a good bounce back. The market looks strong here. The market's going up on the Nasdaq, which is helping AMD go up. So in this instance, it's kind of hard to judge, because that would be a really, really good bounce. So I didn't think that would happen. Okay, so for AMD, you might, when I say might, because that would be a pretty spectacular day. So you might see AMD retrace to the 3-dev mark, which is going to be up at 110.77 this morning. Or, I mean, it's about the same price. One second, I got to do one more thing here with the AMD. I don't feel comfortable saying that. That's why I'm not saying it. I don't know. I have no idea today on this one. I mean, I kind of do, but I mean, it's bullish now. I don't, because it didn't really hit the support the way I'd like, which makes me fearful it's still going to retrace to support. So I will say that you still have to treat this downtrend on AMD as a downtrend, meaning, you know, this for me right now is just a counter trend bounce until the market actually put in a higher low. Then we might be able to suggest that this is bottomed and we're uptrending. So for now, I think you still got to be slightly bearish on AMD overall, but on the day, I think you're long bias still. Still think there's some long bias movement to come. But I think the important thing today is to definitely keep an eye on the market, and whatever way the market starts moving, you're probably going to see very similar movement in AMD. Now, I will mention if we're exceptionally lucky on AMD, then you which is so, it would be, no, no, that's not going to happen. It's not, this AMD is not going to $110 today. It's not going to go to almost 111. I was like, that's my price target, one of them, 1074. But to get to 1074, you got to go through +3, you got to go through +4, and then you have to go through +5 probably, because 108.76 to 109.58 is about $1, a little less than $1. So 109.56 to 110.56 will put you at 5 deviations, and then from 1047 to 1166, 1047, 1166, so that's 53 cents, and 1160, so it's another $1. So you have to trade up 6+ deviations on the intraday to get to the, I mean, I get maybe, but yeah. So anyways, I'll just say it. If you see AMD up at 1075, you'll probably have a good short play there. But I would stay long on this for now, just tracking momentum with the market probably. Okay, Justin, so number one, when do your options expire on SoFi? That would be the number one question I'm most concerned with. And right now, SoFi looks good. Yeah. We had a big buyback there. So that was on the down. On the down. Yeah, I think you would stay long, even if I don't know your expiration, but as long as your expiration is not like, wait, you said SoFi has earnings coming up. I don't even see their earnings coming up. Oh, it's not on the page. So when are there? I don't know when their earnings are coming up. It's not showing on my chart the way it normally does, so I can't just quickly know this. But yeah, I think you can stay long on SoFi. It looks decent to me. But anyways, the mean is at about $19, so I would say that the target right now is at $18.66 to $19. And whenever their earnings is, I don't know if it's today or if it's going to be tomorrow, but if you look at the implied volatility of the market before SoFi releases earnings, I'm just going to go on a whim, and I guarantee that the implied move for the earnings report on SoFi will probably come out to about a price of $18.70 to $19. So I would imagine, that market makers are probably targeting back up to $18.70 to $19. So they're going to make the implied volatile move of the options market day of or before an implied move of. For now, the implied move might be like we're at 17, 19, so like 270 or something like that. Yeah. Alrighty. There's that. Do you find it easier to trade mega caps? I mean, not really. I mean, yeah, actually, no, yeah. I mean, they're just more reliable, is really what it comes down to. But all stocks go up and down pretty much the same at the end of the day. It just comes down to volume, liquidity, and things of that nature. But larger cap stocks are more reliable. Some argue they follow trend better, which they do. They're going to follow a trend better because they're just more reliable and so on and so forth. All right, let's pop on over to AMC. We haven't gotten to that yet. So yesterday's recommendation for AMC was that it could have been a long, but we were expecting it to be bearish. So we gave the analysis for in the event of a long, and we gave the analysis for in the event of bearish, with us leaning more towards bearish. The market fell significantly farther than we anticipated. So we only projected about 50% of the move that AMC made yesterday to the downside. And then the other 50% I didn't see coming. Nonetheless, thumbs up, analysis was correct. We will continue to tell you that you want to be bearish AMC going forward, at least for now and probably today. And then you can also probably just anticipate that the price of AMC will go to $25. And then you can, yeah. So anyways, you will see we had a big bearish day yesterday. So this bearish day completely engulfs the previous green day that it had, and it pretty much engulfs that previous red day that it had. Not that it's important that it engulfed the previous red day. I'm just saying kind of significant that yesterday's trading day engulfed the past two trading sessions of AMC, which one of which was a bullish day, kind of. So anyways, we have a bearish engulfing day from yesterday on AMC that covers a previous green trading session. That's bearish. We have a price target suggestion down to, which has been the same price target for like the past 2 months, right? So when we were trading up here, price target was here. When we were trading here, price target was here. When we were trading here, price target was here. When we're trading here, price target is here. So price target is still 25. It's actually 25.67. So again, this whole time we've been going down, we've really been targeting down to -1 deviations, and along the way, we've had counter trend bounce moves that conflict that of the original downtrend, possibly convincing people that the downtrend is done, yet all counter trend bounces have been sold into vigorously. That being said, we do feel confident we can suggest that markets on AMC are trying to get to 25.59, or markets will base in 25.59, or sorry, long story short, target is -1 deviation. Whether that comes in the form of price reaching -1 deviations or -1 deviations catching up to price. That is something else we don't touch on very often, but it can happen. Price does not always have to go to. Trend can come to, right? Price doesn't have to always go to trend. Sometimes the trend can come to the price and then the goal has been met, right? Same objective of me going to meet a girl for dinner as the girl coming to meet me for dinner. At the end of the day, we meet for dinner. It really doesn't matter if I go to her or she comes to me. We're both going to spend gas, and then we're probably both going to go home and have a late night together in the bed, eat Haagen-Dazs ice cream while we watch Stranger Things. That sounds like a great night to me, hopefully with a happy ending. Nonetheless, it comes to the same end point. One deviation, price either goes to there, or deviation comes to price. So I do think that we're trying to target the -1 deviation mark. I do believe AMC is bearish. Now, let's say in the event today isn't bearish and it throws us all for a curveball. I believe that curveball by Justin Verlander is going to throw us up to potentially the price of 34.43. I will look at CLOV for you, Nessa, here in just a second. It's about 8:53. I'm going to start up our other meeting here in just a second. All right, so if we zoom in, you will see the price of 34.45, which is just right there. You also have the half candle retrace level right at about 34.42. So in the event AMC goes long today, the market would probably try to target back up to about 34.24. In the event the market wants nothing to do with that price, I think it continues selling off, and we might end up seeing a price of like $25 today. So my absolute downside target right now for the AMC market in the immediate will be down to 25. My absolute long projection for the day is going to be about 34, 33.95. And that's really all we have to discuss on AMC. Thumbs up. All right, we're going to pop on over to CLOV, but before we do that, I'm going to kickstart our Elite Trading Program, which, by the way, you can feel free to join into. Links are posted in the chat there. All right, so we're going to pop on over to CLOV here. Give me a second. Sorry, guys, I'm having technical difficulties. Jeez, so frustrating. Okay, sorry about. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at CLOV here. So our chat here, we're at 9 in the morning, and the chat is right at about 400. So that would theoretically mean that over the past week or so, almost 2 weeks now, right? Yeah. Almost 2 weeks now, there's almost been zero exposure or growth to our stream. Almost, which is just kind of ironic, but we'll keep banging it out. So looking over here at CLOV, we have, that's downtrend. Well, it went down, obviously. So CLOV below the mean popped up to the regression level. So your breakout level on CLOV is going to be at $9.41. Your current support of the market or a potential down target is going to be $6.95. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you have the 4-hour mean here. So I think the long target for the day on CLOV is back up to 870 to 876. And then that's going to be your resistance. You can only really suggest that CLOV is maybe getting bullish again if it can reclaim the prices of 870 and then get up and over 940. So I'm kind of more on the neutral to bearish side of this. Would I really be bearish now? I think I'm just neutral. I think what I would watch for is to see if you can at least reclaim the price of like 870s, because if you do, that would be where you had your up move, stock got crushed, but at least it came back to reclaim its long-term statistical mean, and at that point you could suggest maybe the market's going to do like a cup and handle and break the mean. So for now, I'd be mainly neutral on CLOV myself, to slightly just neutral. I don't even like it bullish or bearish right now. Sorry to say, but that's the reality of my situation on that. There was one that I marked down earlier, which was CLNE. This is going to be the last one I cover here for just a second. So CLNE, which was the energy stock. So CLNE. The last time I thought about buying this, it was here, and then it spiked to 15 or 17 or whatever. It didn't get that. Then it sold all the way off to -1 deviation. It's starting to bounce again. So you are more on the long side with CLNE currently. Excuse me. It's at resistance. Never mind. Well, you are. It's on the long move, but you're at resistance right now. So until you clear resistance, you're not going to really go much more. So CLNE, my target, still continuing to be long today with the max target of 838, expecting you to see resistance at 838 CLNE. So I do offer one-to-one coaching, but in a nutshell, after we launched it live, it created a ton of issues with our website, and then one of the home pages of our website got completely deleted-ish. So pretty much we edited our website, added this new product, and then it completely reset our website to like the generic like website form of like, you know, like when you're editing a website, it has all the example text and all the example pictures, and it's just like a bunch of gibberish bullshit. That's what happened. We put this new product on our site, and it just completely like erased our website, thanks to our parent company having bugs. So we did have a coaching service almost ready to go, but then once we installed it, it basically screwed up a bunch of other things. So now we're in the process of basically re-editing our website, redoing that service, and recreating all of that. It's a great time. Just try and be a business owner. It's fun. So we do have that. I will make announcements when that's all up and running, but basically having to go through a lot more work because of it now. NEO going. I will take a quick peek at that real fast. NEO does kind of have like sort of a flag set up there. Half candle retrace level. You held the 50 moving average well. You got back up over the 9-day moving average. Yeah, I would say there's a good chance for NEO to have a bull day here. Yeah, I do like the long look on NEO today there. All right, gonna take a peek at mRNA really quickly. So mRNA ended up going down overnight a little bit more. I still think that you could be slightly bearish on this. We have a half deviation price here at 456. So my opinion is that the market on mRNA is going to try to bounce back up to the long side, maybe tagging 456 and then coming down. I would be very impressed to see it all the way back to 471. Then again, this is mRNA. Then again, it's a vaccine thingy. So we'll see. But nonetheless, I would probably continue to be overall bearish mRNA at these prices. We recommended being bearish yesterday and shorting. We started short pre-market. So still suggesting you should probably be bearish that. Downside targets that I would look to dip by at will be around the 9-day moving average, which is $4.11, or whatever the next statistical deviation levels are, which are down at 410 to 403.04. So, yeah, that being said, I'm still just overall bearish. mRNA might be a candidate that we follow a little bit today. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that stock DYAI. I know that it hit the scanner and it was moving a little bit, so thank you for mentioning that. So yes, we'll take a quick peek at DYAI here. Alrighty, Mick DY Mick AY Mick Mick Mac Mickle Tickle. What do we got here, kids? A pedophile. I'm just kidding. Shouldn't say that. Probably not going to help my growth. Alrighty, so you got... I gotta delete all this stuff. It's just already confusing. What's the float on DYAI? 19 million share float. All right, so DYAI, they have some news. Sorrento and DYAI announces binding term sheet to license DYAI's lead COVID-19 vaccine candidate, DYAI 100 and C1 Technology, protein-based coronavirus vaccine therapeutics. So more coronavirus stuff. So yeah, I believe this does have the potential to be a long bias mover. The objective of today on DYAI is to maintain the price of 421, which you can see we have done so far this morning. We went to 421. So again, watch. We go to 421. You have resistance because that's a 1 deviation mark. You will see we then break above it, and all the candles then start to kind of retest that level, trying to hold that yellow level. Then we break up again. Then we pull back, and you can see we pull back just to about the yellow level, just to about the yellow level, just to about the yellow level, slightly above, continuing to hold. Right now, intraday, the market is remaining below half deviation price, as you can see by that dotted white line. All right. The intraday resistance right now is going to be up at 454 based on intraday trend. Long-term trending resistance, which is where the breakout level will be on the day, is 459. You have a slight half deviation price here at 473, but I believe if you were to break 460, the momentum would be very well strong enough to break the half deviation price, so this is probably of almost no concern there, so I could probably just delete that one. I don't think we really need to worry about it. So in the event DYAI actually does the breakout, then you're probably going to be targeting up to a max price of $5.23 today. This will be a stock that we watch for the open. So again, as long as we stay over 420 and break up over the price of 460, we can see a target of 520. Holy cow, that has been so many stocks that I've run through today. I just need a break to think to myself for a second. Get a stretch in there. Holy Mogo. Oh, I have been burning at both ends for the past couple weeks, trying to get our coaching service online and then having our website go down and then having to fix our website. It's been a pain. Also, I don't know if that gentleman's in here that was renting on Turo and then he said he lost all his cars, which I think it was a little bit exaggerated because you can't really lose all of your cars unless someone stole them or I don't know what you did with them. So it'd be pretty hard to lose all of your cars. But also the insurance thing. You said Turo's insurance is garbage. Well, Turo insures the car and then also wants you to get your own insurance. So it's not really the Turo insurance that screws you per se. It would more or less be your insurance that's screwing you because that's what's cutting into your profits as well. Which again, that's why you want to get to a certain amount of cars and have a certain amount of cars because then you can get commercial insurance, which is then cheaper than private, progressive, Allstate insurance, and so on and so forth. So the objective is to get enough cars so you have commercial insurance, which will then reduce your expenses, which increases cash flow, revenue, and earnings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, really, it just increases earnings. It doesn't increase revenue because expenses have nothing to do with revenue. Revenue is before expenses, so it's really after earnings, but yeah, whatever. So anyways, yeah, if you're still in here, maybe you could shed some insight on that. We already went over Chewy a little bit earlier today. I think I was, I don't remember. I want to say maybe slightly bullish. Or wait, no. Chewy was the one that double topped. I think I'm neutral on Chewy. But yeah, if you jump back, and everyone always asks me to add timestamps and everything into the stream. Folks, I don't have enough time to sit back through a whole 3-hour stream every single day, same as you, and then mark down timestamps. I just don't have the time for that. Yeah, I'll update the Discord link. It should still work. Again, if it's not working, that's really Discord's fault, believe it or not, because when I create the link, it says make sure the link is active forever. So if it's not active and we set the link to be active for forever, theoretically, that's Discord's issue. But we'll fix their problem. Don't worry about it. This dude seems panic in an arrogant way, but his deviation theory is unquestionable. Thank you. I appreciate that, Scott. I do have sort of that tendency. I definitely do. I don't mean to. It's just maybe, you know. So can you see... Brian, so we used to offer a live trading service, which was through Boiler Room Trading. We ended that so that we could just do straight live analysis all day long for people on YouTube. And then if you do want to be involved in any sort of live trading that we do, you're going to have to join into our Elites Trading Program, which if you look, there's probably a link posted by the Nightbox every once in a while. Nightbox will post a link to join the Elite Trading Program, which is run by my partner, Brandon, who is, believe it or not, a better trader than I am, probably. We did not look at Fubo, FULC price target. No price targets for FULC. FULC is already, or wait, maybe. Hold on. Yeah, never mind. I think there is potential targets for No, there isn't. FULC is already overbought. So this is running on momentum. People on the short side are getting squeezed out. So we've entered into, again, I don't know exactly what their whole deal is with FULC, but nonetheless, FULC is running on momentum, euphoria, and exuberance at these prices. Not that it can't go higher, but nonetheless, if you start taking ownership of FULC at these prices for, say, like a swing trade, you're almost guaranteed a loss because the market will then eventually try to retrace back to within 4 to within 3 deviations, which is going to be priced at 1785 to 1570. So again, just know that if you buy now, try to hold, your downside risk is 1785 to 1576. The current price is about 24, a little less, but let's say it's 24. So 24 down to, let's just say, let's say 16. That's $8. So you have an $8 risk, which means you'd have to be able to get $16 up. So unless you think that FULC on a swing trade is going to go $16 up from here, then you couldn't justify taking a long position as a swing trade because your risk right now is $8 down. So for now, I would be only day trade long on FULC, wouldn't really be swing long at these prices. And that's how I go about watching FULC. And again, since we're so high up, I don't really give price targets like this. Once you exceed 4, there isn't really any price target. You're just riding euphoria. So euphoria is tracked by intraday momentum, candlesticks, formations, patterns, things like that. Whatever gives you the confidence to feel momentum still favoring you, then that's what you do. We're into an exuberant market now and there, so I would just kind of be slightly hesitant, so to speak. Should always put trackers into cars being rented out. Yes, I am looking into like 2 different products that would be installed into each car that you can access remotely, unlock the car, start the car, and see and track the car. So am looking in products that will allow us to track all vehicles and things like that as well, and open them car remotely, because if we can access the car remotely and unlock it for them, then that will really, really help automate our process of doing this, which then will cut down expenses and so on and so forth. Mr. H2 Pro, yeah, AirTag. Actually, my buddy in California uses AirTags for his. I'm just kind of going a step further so that I'm able to do sort of more automated things. But that's another good idea. I'll probably do that too now that you said that. Yeah, because I believe like an AirTag is just a small little thing, so that could really be hidden anywhere. Whereas obviously the tracker is going to have to be installed probably into like the ECU or something like that. I'm not a big guy like that knows that, but yeah, I get you. Okay, kind of want to take a peek at the SPY really quickly. Hey, so the SPY actually finally broke through. Very nice. Okay. That's a rip. So remember how we said this was kind of our projected like resistance. So when I say projected resistance, that means the market's probably going to move to that level. So whenever I say resistance, I think markets will move there. We went significantly through that, which makes me sort of believe that it might be the momentum of the Nasdaq that's driving the price up, because look at this, right? The SPY is extremely overbought on intraday trend here, okay? Whereas the Nasdaq isn't really extremely overbought. It's getting overbought on intraday levels, but the long-term levels are this zone. So I almost feel it's the momentum of the Nasdaq running into its longer-term resistance channel that's also helping drive the price up of the SPY to overbought levels on the intraday. Obviously, CPI numbers are running a big factor into that, but I do believe there's some momentum of the Nasdaq that's trickling over to the SPY and causing some effect there. Okay. Oh, man. Whew. You know what? I got to give a shout out to all the parents that are watching this channel. Moms, dads, single moms, grandparents taking care of grandchildren. You guys are heroes because I just bought a dog and that thing is kicking my ass. It wakes me up early with a tennis ball wanting to play. So I can only imagine how kids are. So shout out to you guys because you are the true heroes because that's tough. That's why I'm so damn tired these days. I mean, that thing burns, and he's a blue heeler, a cattle dog, Australian Shepherd, mixed with a German Shepherd, mixed with an American Eskimo dog, mixed with an American Shetland Sheepdog, an American Eskimo dog's a circus dog, so super smart. A cattle dog's a super smart dog, super hyper. Australian Shepherd, super smart, super hyper, and a German Shepherd's just a savage. So this dog is literally about the most active hyper thing I probably could have bought, though I wanted that because I wanted a dog that was active that would always do things with me. But boy oh boy, it's kicking my ass, I will tell you. It's like, whoa, kiddo, whoa. He's probably going to become the new co-host of the channel, Cody and Connor ripping on stocks. So we're still following DYAI here. This is probably going to be what we follow going into the open for penny stock purposes this morning. All right, we're going to get the little puppuccino. I've got everybody excited. We got 10 minutes, so let me go get the little guy. He wants to say hi. Sorry about the no sound there, but it's not easy ripping with the dog. So anyways, he's my dog. He's my dog. I love him. He's adorable. He's my life. So the sound of silence. You could even though it was muted, you could see the love, right? So all right, we are going to keep DYAI on the watch here. The Qs are up pretty big. Dog hair in my mouth, perfect. Yeah, Neo's got that earnings coming up after hours. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I wonder if Neo's really going to give a good day or if it's just going to be kind of choppy. My thoughts on SoFi were long bias overall, yeah. long bias for SoFi. Never get that with the woman. Probably could. Bitcoin hitting 50K this week. Well, the price targets of Bitcoin were 47,000 to 52,000. So, yeah, very, very possible. Plausible is another way of saying it. But pretty much this is what you should expect the current long target / resistance of Bitcoin's market is right here, that whole box. So anywhere from 53, 54,000 to this 47,000 is pretty much, that's where you should expect Bitcoin's going, and we're going to see selling occur there. Yep. Can I look at FAMI? Sure, I'll take a. I mean, there's been a lot of requests. Yeah, we're kind of getting towards market open, so I'm going to slow down on the requests, just kind of keep my eyes on a couple of these things. Yeah, DYAI slowly selling back down to that 1 deviation mark. So DYAI slowly losing that beautiful look and feel. So market's most likely going to retrace on DYAI down to here. It's, well, we pretty much already did. So yeah, as long as DYAI stays above your 420, you're good. But again, if it starts to break down 420, that's where it's going to get a little iffy. All right, so once again this morning, it looks like our YouTube stream topped at about 460. Do I think AMD will keep falling today? Let me look again. I can't remember what we were thinking. No, I was kind of thinking it was going to bounce more today. And maybe confused. Yeah, I mean, I think it can still go down, yes, but part of me was thinking it's still going to try to grind up some more before doing so. So not entirely sure. I was a little confused. I was a little confused with AMD myself this morning. Oh, we're almost at 400 likes. There we go, people. Thank you. I appreciate you guys a bunch. Still following that DYAI. That's pretty much about it. NEO is right at the half candle retrace level, which is 444.84. So the long play for me on NEO would probably be a snap and break through that 444.84 price on the long side, that is. Just an idea. I mean, it's pretty straightforward with DYAI. You need price to stay over 420. That's pretty much it. You know, if prices are fading below 420, it's not a long play for right now. It's gonna take some time. FULC. I mean, we'll touch on FULC just barely. You're gonna want to stay long bias FULC for the moment in time. You're probably only going to be day trading it. If anything, you don't want to be swing trading it. Your risk for a swing trade is all the way back down to the price of 17 to 15. So the price targets on the downside are 17.15 right now. Markets can still move up. Wouldn't be trying to trade the price of FULC if it gets up and over 30. If it's over 30, you're way late to the party on the day. So staying slightly long bias FULC for the time being, but a price target is back down to the prices of 18 to 15-ish right now. Titan, no, the email did not come through. How about 1 second? 1 second. So I am going to post Titan. This is a link to our chat room. It's a Discord. Please go to there and then just direct message me on Discord. That will probably at this point be a little easier, I think. So yeah, if you could just go to that Discord link I sent and then just send me a message there, please. AMD kind of rolling a little down before the bell. So let's get up DYAI, and in the event we're lucky, this actually moves long bias. Time is at 9:20, so we got 1 more minute till the open here. DYAI choosing to almost roll down before the bell. I mean, I looked at Mogo earlier, obviously, but I kind of feel like that's going to fade out and, well, maybe just be kind of boring today. Could be wrong about that. I mean, it's coming from a low point, spiking upwards, so yeah, it could. But no, there is less attention right now on Mogo, but I'll keep it up on the side for now. Yeah, DYAI sitting on the regression trend this morning at 441. In order for it to even get up to 458, you got to cross through 441. Mogo starting to sell down a little bit there. All right, so there's DYAI spiking up to that first desired price target we suggested. We broke through it. Now it's a matter of it sustaining above. All right, so DYAI made its first pop to its first resistance level. Again, if this is going to move higher, it needs to sustain over the price of 458. The Qs are starting to roll down at the open. Mogo kind of looks like a choppy turd. Right now, DYAI is battling that half deviation price we talked about earlier, which is at a price of 475, which it did in fact hold below, but again, through 475 is kind of that little mini pop level, which hopefully works. Mogo, awkward reversal long there, but working. Popping on AMC over here. Oh no, AMC. Oh, I'm just kidding. Not really that bad. So we've had two 1-minute candles retest the price of about whatever that was for 460s, still holding above. Is that $5 target 520 too optimistic on DYAI? Is it too optimistic? All right, DYA up to 485 there. Okay, all right, so they're bringing her down. All right, so maybe that 5 was a little too aggressive, at least for now. So probably not going to do much with DYAI at this point. AMC looks like absolute garbage. I'll take a quick peek here, INFI. Keeping a little bit of an eye on the stock ORPH. It was a stock that kind of blew up yesterday. I'm wondering if we're going to continue momentum up here today. Yeah, I think ORPH can get up to about 636 or maybe retest the previous high. Yeah, there's things you can still buy. You probably just got to wait for the right setups. Again, ORPH moving pretty decently. It's got a 50 moving average coming into at 622. If it can get through 622, should hit a high of 636. RCON, typically a slower moving stock. Down to 3 deviations. I probably wouldn't do anything with that. Neutral to just neutral. Nothing to do. Yes, another rejection. ORPH still moving really good. That's almost up to that 636 price. In the event it breaks through 636, I think it's going to go for a move to about 675. Let me pull that up real quick. So right now, ORPH is hitting half deviation resistance. 651 is a previous high from yesterday. Through those points, I think you're going to see 680 on ORPH if you're invested or following or watching. Yeah, what is that one ticker? What is it? FULC. So FULC, quick spike up to 25, getting sold into currently. We already covered Apple earlier. The analysis was that Apple was probably a pop long, looking to go up to resistance marks. So basically we said resistance marks were going to be up towards 146. So long targets on the day would be max to 146. You can see we popped up towards that level. Started to pull back some. So again, I figure this actually might, theoretically, this could get bearish if the market starts to come down some more. Now watching this ORPH, it still looks good. So again, ORPH right at that half deviation price, so 637 would be the mark you'd want to see it clear. Taking a short onto Apple, just added 200 shares. Kind of thinking Apple's gonna maybe snap down here. Yeah, Apple's sitting right on the 9-day moving average, but the Nasdaq was currently running bearish to the downside. kind of thinking we were going to get a bearish move down here. I mean, even with the Nasdaq going down and the SPY slowly trickling down, Apple's still kind of holding there. So ORPH unable to sustain or essentially get over that half deviation price. Apple's still sitting, pretty much doing nothing since entering. So covered my short on Apple. It's just holding too well there. Even with the market selling off, it didn't really get much negative downside. So closing short on Apple. Still watching this ORPH. It had a pretty nice recovery there. ORPH slowly making its way up, but again, we'll see if it really jumps. Apple's actually reverting back down there. Market actually just sold down again, so there goes the break. So ORPH snapping upwards now, very good, almost to the previous high of yesterday. If that can get over the previous high, I think it goes towards 675, just an FYI. Apple is rolling over. I did re-enter short into that for that break again, real quick, not like anything too crazy. So just a small 50 share short now on Apple. Maybe it fades out a little more. I was basically timing the drop with the market selling off. All right, so there's ORPH up to about 680, or wait, sorry, 660. Again, we had that targets of 680 on the upside for now. So watching to add bearish to ORPH as we get into 680, I do believe it can be a rejection point. So kind of watching ORPH on a short in that area. So in short a little bit with ORPH. We'll see if it smacks down here. Still okay with it going up towards the 680s mark. I mean, that's definitely possible. Still have a small short on Apple. Yeah, Apple's a fighter today, that's for sure. There she goes, a little bit more. Ooh, ORPH. Little down drop. Boom, very nice. Covering a little bit as that sells down. Took off most of that trade because I am slightly fearful it could still somehow manage to get to 680. So covering my last little bit there on Apple, it's kind of just boring and annoying. So I took my last little trade on the short side off of Apple this morning. So all of that. Apologies if I'm blind. Where's your volume? I mean, volume's right here down on the bottom. Again, like I said, I'm still like optimistic ORPH can make it up to 680, so don't really have too big of a position here, or I don't have anything, or I only have 75 shares short right now on this, which is just nothing. So that's the reason I have 75 shares short, so that if it does end up snapping down, I'll make a little bit, but also that if it came all the way up to my target of 680, that I could, it wouldn't really hurt at all. What is there still to buy? I have no idea, actually, Drew. Zero clue. No idea. Being honest, I have no idea. Neo ended up selling down. How's AMC doing? AMC is meh. Oh yeah, somebody asked me about a dip buy in AMC. No, I'm not dip buying AMC. My desired prices for right now for a dip buy would be all the way down at $25. So unless this forms up and then it starts trending up and like breaking out, then I wouldn't really consider being extremely long bias AMD right now. Thoughts on BCTX? 1 second. So BCTX here. Pretty much almost at resistance. BCTX, you're looking for a breakout over 616. It's pretty much straightforward. You're looking for a 1+1 deviation breakout. So, yep. With maybe a target up to 650. So yeah, breakout around 612. Hopefully making it up to 650 is kind of what I'm seeing on BCTX right now. So right now, yeah, ORPH is definitely seeing the weakness. Okay, coin to move off 300. I know I was requested that a couple times to look at it. Coin off 300. That's 290 up there. Yeah, I think you would be slightly more bearish around that. mRNA. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go. mRNA analysis on mother and spa. Lego. So we're going to be watching for a bounce on mRNA. So the kid who asked, is there anything left to buy? Yeah, there might be here, mRNA. Let's see if we can get a +2 deviation bounce for the day. That would be nice. See, ideally, well, it's kind of already did that. I mean, this thing's been on a run for a long time. I don't actually think it's worth a dip buy. Kind of nervous about that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. You'd be better off probably shorting down to 420 right now, to be honest. Yeah, you could probably just be bearish on mRNA down to 420 still. ORPH still holding up here. All right, we'll see if that makes a difference. We'll change the title of that. So there goes mRNA down to 422. Kind of mentioned that there a sec ago. ORPH is trying to kind of squeeze up here. I wonder if it's going to be successful, though. That is the question. There goes mRNA down more. That was kind of like we were suggesting where that bounce level would be at. But don't think it's going to work, so not really adamant about doing that. Yeah, I pretty much trade bounces and shorts off any and all deviation marks when I feel it's the right time to do it. Say adding back bearish to ORPH, kind of thinking this is meant to go down again. If it doesn't, then I will lose and I'll reverse into maybe a long, because it still has the potential of maybe going to that 680s mark I was talking about. So we'll see. We'll see if who wins the battle, bears or bulls. Who's got it? The bears. Lego. Hey. There's that bounce at 420 that I was kind of thinking about doing, but I didn't really want to do it. You can see it just got a green candle there. So that's kind of what I was thinking, but wasn't really crazy about doing it, so I didn't. ORP McH. I really hope this turns into a big, just fading downswing. Hopefully it just gets annihilated. Am I in CWBR? No, I am not. I am not. So it was a good downswing move from ORPH, but again, you want more than that. I mean, that's one candle down. You'd want it to fade out. So still holding okay there. Don't like the way that candle held. It's all right. So price targets for mRNA were correct from yesterday down into like the 430s to like 420 zone. So that did end up happening. Qs are kind of starting to roll down again, just an FYI. So that means things are probably heading more on the downside. Stock ACHL just came across the scanner, FYI. So it looks like they're trying to squeeze me and other people up on that play, or at least maybe stop us out by going up to our stop loss locations on ORPH. Little bastards. You think you're going to stop me out on a little quick pop or Magoo? Maybe. We'll see. I mean, we still haven't really snapped the support level that would cause intraday longs to panic. You know, once we start getting through this low and sort of through the price of 618, that's where intraday longs are going to panic and then the stock will flush out. So that previous pop candle there, that was probably a market maker shifting the spread, trying to get short sellers to cover to cause a squeeze. It's just probably a retrace stop out candle. That's what I'm hoping. Too soon to tell yet, but we'll see. Actually, know what? I did stop out. I stopped out. I'm all out. Mother, god damn it. Goddamn market makers, always swindling, always swindling. Connor, what those options look like today? I don't know which options you're referring to, but yeah, probably not. I mean, if you're talking about mRNA, I'm not really watching that. But so far, the bounce is working on mRNA down at 420 where we suggested. I just didn't really care for it myself, apparently. Looks like they're going to squeeze up little ORPH here. At least it looks like they're trying to. A little bit of Elliott Wave. I wouldn't say it's something that I typically work off on a day-to-day basis, but yeah, I'm aware of Elliott Wave. Mogo hitting resistance, huh? Oh yeah, Mogo popped back up there. ORPH still grinding up. You know, those market makers might be trying to force that short pop for sure. We'll see. A lot of sellers right at 650. If they get knocked out, they should pop. There it goes. Well, ORPH with a quick pop and then pretty much a drop. Over that 650 tree. So yeah, like I said, 680 would probably be like the max target up for ORPH today, I believe. Wow, I can't believe Mogo came back up on the day. It's actually kind of impressive. Nope. So yeah, I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't suggest mRNA to go down to the price targets that you suggested, which was, where is that? Yeah, I wouldn't suggest it's going to go to 410 for right now. Again, from the other day, our thought was it was going to move. Well, actually, yeah, it could definitely move to 410. Absolutely, it can move to 410. We were only projecting down into the 420 to 430 as of 2 days ago. And that's where we're at now. And sure enough, the market is getting dip bought up really well at that level. For some reason, I just didn't have the confidence to pull the trade on the dip there. But you're already up 10 points if you would have trusted the 420 dip buy as we suggested yesterday. And I suggested myself today. But that's how the market goes. So nonetheless, mRNA price targets achieved. Bouncing. So yeah, we've changed the title to How to Live Trade for Beginners. Maybe that will accumulate more viewers, but probably not. We'll see though. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. We're up to 430 likes on the video, so hopefully we can get that all the way up into maybe 600 today. That would be cool. Thoughts on XELA? Sure. Ooh, XCLA, strong move. That could be what you need to regain control of the bullish side of the market there. I mean, yeah, it's having a good long move. You're late to the party. It's not really on true trending resistance. It does kind of look like it's creating a bull flag, though. Yeah, you know, after today's bullish day, this is kind of giving me back to the more of the long feel again. So, nonetheless, I do think you should watch XLA on long bias side. I think the market might be trying to target back to 337, but nonetheless, you're not going to get a really big breakout move until you actually get through 337. Russ, I don't know what you're short on. Yeah, I think you should take off some of your short. I could definitely see mRNA moving lower, sure, but you're not going to be able to get it lower without having to hold through pain and confusion. So nonetheless, I probably would take some off there. It's a really phenomenal drop, right? So the other day we said we should be bearish mRNA down to the 1030s, 1020s. That happened. The market did what we wanted it to do. You should take advantage of that. There's ORPH at 654. You're going to be looking for a break point here with maybe a swing move all the way into 680, as I mentioned earlier. By the way, I'm no longer in that short play as well. We're still green on ORPH. That did 554 on that one today, so that's cool. Still debating whether or not I do a short here on this at 680. To the market makers watching the video, I'm already short. Don't worry about it. I'm already short. Just run it up to 680 and squeeze me out. McFubo rolling down. So the reason we all do PL trading is because realistically it doesn't do anything for any of the traders, and it gives incentive for users to still want to use some of our paid products and services on our site. So there's a couple reasons for it, and it's really easier on me. So it's pretty much in a nutshell it. Sooner than later, though, like I said, CJ, we will have, so there will be a running P&L, probably like in a week and a half or so. But anything regarding actual live trading, we still want to have incentives for people to want to join our paid services. That is literally marketing 101. You guys know this. You don't not know this. You do know this, but usually the people marketing to you don't tell you that. But I am telling you that. So again, there has to be a difference between what we do here and what we still have paid services for. So that is another main reason. So yes, we are trying to still sell people on products. 100% transparency there. So that being said, most marketing agencies or anybody selling you a product won't tell you that, but I mean, it really doesn't take a brainiac to figure that one out. That is literally marketing strategy 101. Covering half your position at 420, very good. So yeah, like CJ, like in like I said, in a couple of weeks, we will have an open running P&L of like more of a longer term investing portfolio, so that anybody that doesn't want to do things specific to trading can still be a part and have some activity in it. But anything related to live and tradings and P&L is mostly going to be through our elites program at this point with Dave, Brandon, and then as soon as I start getting myself involved there. Fubo, yes, Fubo going down. Good question. Oh yeah, so Fubo coming off the +1 deviation mark. So if you see, you'll have a +1 deviation mark at $33.54. That's probably part of the reason why it sold down today. Where it's going is probably. And by the way, I hope I didn't like offend anyone by saying what I just said, or was mean about that. But I was just really trying to be honest about the whole business aspect and really the shift that we've made. So hopefully you guys aren't offended by it. But it is what it is. I mean, you can go somewhere else and you can just have them lie to you and tell them that they're not trying to have money, create a sale, right? You could go somewhere else and people won't tell you that, but I'm here to tell you that, yeah, we still would like to make sales to other products, and in doing so, by making sure we have a restricted service here, that could also help them. So we have ORPH breaking the 680 mark, which was the mean, so that's good for ORPH. I really didn't expect much higher than that. Oh, the level was actually 686 now, so it did change a little bit. So again, whenever stocks break through means, they can have really big moves. Sometimes they stop at it. So we're still kind of on the fence here of whether or not ORPH will reject this price point, or if it's going to keep cruising. So kind of just watching for now. Millennium March, too pricey. Yeah, you might consider it when it's on sale. So if we ever run a sale and it becomes within your price point, then obviously you will know about it. And that's another thing with business too, as well, is sometimes you don't want to start products too low because then you don't give yourself discounting availability. So that's another one right out of the business handbook. But we won't go into that. But nonetheless, you know, if again, if Elite's program and trading and things are, you know, too expensive, that's why we're going to be here every single day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to about 11 a.m. We will run live analysis for you, in which the live analysis in itself should be good enough for you guys to hopefully generate some profit, or at least have a really good understanding of the market, right? You know, I'm not, you know, like, for example, I'm not too sure how many, and not like I'm the best in the world, but again, I'm not really too positive how many other people in the market, you know, can tell you that mRNA is going to drop the other day with the price target down into, you know, 430 to 420, and then that's probably where you should look to cover, maybe consider a bounce, and then that happens to a T within 2 days. So that's pretty unique. And so I think that just over time, by doing with this, you guys live, you'll start to really pick up on it. Oh yeah, Fubo downside target. I never got to that. I was looking for one, but I don't think I actually saw one that I could comfortably say was going to happen. So right now, my downside target on Fubo is really kind of non-existent. Don't really have one. The way that I would go about looking at Fubo is really just, you don't really want to try to buy a bounce or a bottom unless it's on an intraday deviation, which would be like, you know, one of these, this green line or so on and so forth. So I'm just kind of overall, I would probably be bearish Fubo for right now and continuing. So right, that's what I mean, is we'll be here, live analysis, you'll learn everything that I know. You can map these things out, you can get a good hang of it, and then if you guys want to up your skills, join another trading room, then you can upgrade to Elites. But my main objective here is so that pretty much everyone should be able to kind of figure out how to do this, you know, on their own for the most part. That's really just it. And then we have other products, of course, you could always advance your learning, you know. But like I said, I really do enjoy spending my time to YouTube as opposed to having people pay me for live trading. Because over the years, I just kind of started, it's like the happiness started to fade for me, if that makes sense. I started to become less happy with what I was doing because it started to feel like a job, right? And so that was one of the things, is that I'd have to, you know, wake up every day, and I still do this, right? But it's just not as serious for me because I'm not having people directly pay me now for a service. So it's a little bit different in aspect, but I'm much happier doing what I'm doing here than I ever was actually charging people for a service. Believe it or not, I made great money doing it. That's fine, but still, and I cut all that money out. You know, I went from making significantly more money. I went from making significantly more money to making significantly less money to do this. But again, that's just the same saying, money does not bring happiness. So that's another reason why I'm here and doing this as well. Hugo, ORPH 690. I'm here for the sorry I'm late to the show. You were mentioned this morning, Mr. Montero. You were actually mentioned in regard to the stock PFE because another member said that they were thinking about getting bearish PFE, and then I remember you asked about PFE just yesterday, and it said probably start considering being more on the opposite side of PFE. I haven't yet looked at PFE today, and PFE is McDown sauce. Lego. So that's fun. ORPH 710 called for real resistance. Got up to 714. So let's see. What would you have been going off of then? You would have been using, would you have been looking at the daily chart? Come on. Yeah, I'm wondering what you're looking at for that. Yeah, yeah, ORPH, we'll see. Well, we'll see if it gains weakness there off that, well, 714 high, 690-ish, 680-ish. In the event that ORPH were to actually like sell down right now, there is a good chance it comes back in near towards like its previous breakout level, you know, high or so on. So another good down move there from ORPH. So slightly above that 680-ish, 90-ish target, but nonetheless, still seeing some resistance in that zone. The Nasdaq is still rolling down, so overall market is still remaining to be slightly bearish on the day. Don't ignore NEO. Don't ignore NEO. Yeah, so NEO going down. I think, what did we? I remember I was saying I kind of liked it on the long today, but like I was saying, I did mention this. I think that was a resistance zone. I can't remember though. Hold on. No, I didn't. No, I really didn't have this one right today because I kind of thought it could go long, but nonetheless it broke down. And they have earnings coming out tomorrow, or after hours, or whatever it is. XELA. Yeah, I know. I see XELA. XELA is bearish. XELA is probably going to come down. That's why I mentioned like 10 minutes ago, you're overbought on XELA. You're late to the party. You're trading at +3 deviations on the intraday. Yeah, so nonetheless, with NEO, I mean, obviously it's bearish. I would probably just remain bearish on NEO for right now. That's pretty much it. They have earnings that come out after hours today, so ideally what you're going to do is you're going to add up, I mean, 811, so that's today. So yeah, I mean, we can do it right now just for fun. We'll do that. Stop it, you piece of shit. ORPH still swinging down. That does not really look amazing, but anyways. So yeah, we're going to pull up NEO here, and if you're new to the channel, which you're probably not really that much new, we will go over a simple strategy to predict how much stocks are going to move for earnings. We made a great video on that too, so you can go watch that as well. So NEO today, August 13th, expiration at the money's 180. There it is. So 220. So the implied move should be around 220, maybe. Oh, sorry, I did that math completely wrong. $3. Sorry. Yeah, so move should be 180 plus 182, so that would be 360. They're pricing a move of implied volatility for $3.31. So what you're going to do today for the stock NEO is, one second. So there goes ORPH continuing to sell down kind of towards those targets that we mentioned of like 656, 640s. So again, today on NEO, the implied move, at least right now, is $3.13. I think it was. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Get a little off track at times. Like, what? Oh, I see why. But anyways, whatever. I said it was like 313. It doesn't really matter. So what you do today, NEO, you're going to go to their chart. Whatever the price closes at for the day, I don't know, but whatever price it does end up closing, whatever price it does end up closing at, you are going to, well, hold on, I got to do this a little differently because you can't quite see it yet, so it's annoying. Why would it be 53? That makes zero sense. Come on, you little turd. This is the biggest problem with Thinkorswim. How slow it can be. Yeah, so this is what you're going to do with NEO today. Pretty much whatever price it closes at. So if it closes at $44 today, you would go $3.13 up from the price of 40. So that would put you at 43.13. And then you would go $3.30 down from 40. That would put you at $36.87. That would put you at $36.87. And that's where NEO's going to move. That's it. I know. Really? That's it? Yeah, no, seriously. Wherever the price closes on NEO today, you're going to go $3.13 above, $3.13 below, and that's probably where you're going to see NEO move to today for earnings. That's it. There's no more questioning what stocks are going to do for earnings. All that time you were so confused on why they go here and how much, it's all figured out, and that's it. All you got to do, go to the option chain, earliest expiring option chain, add up at the money put, at the money call. That's going to give you a pretty accurate estimate of where the stock moves for earnings. Thumbs up. Got to get the chat over 500. Oh, there's a script, implied moves. That's interesting. I never knew that. Give me one second, Mr. Lawrence. I need to get my phone. I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, welcome back. So this is really for Mr. Lawrence. This is one of my bigger main accounts for investing that has to do with an individual investment account, a couple 401k accounts. So this is mainly managed by some managers, but also each quarter. This is actually by my old football coach, believe it or not. So always go in and we'll discuss, a couple things back and forth, always through text messages, what we think. But this is a pretty well-balanced portfolio. So amongst all the accounts, it's 337,000. I have two 401ks. One of them's I'm not going to go into all of that, but it's basically for tax reasons. So I save a bunch of money, so to speak. But anyways, we will go into sort of what this is. All right. So this is a large cap blend of stocks. So this is kind of like the pie chart, what the mixture is. So you can see it's pretty much everything, just to be pretty simple, straightforward. So at the beginning of this year, actually, we'll go back. Hold on. So beginning of this year, I think we were at a total return of like 60%. So we have decreased since then, but we're still running at about a 26% return. Actually, if we look at the market, what are we at? So let's see. The market currently year to date was probably up gigantic. Let's see. So let's see. This would be, that's not big enough. 1 second. So that was 2019, 2020. So we'll go from that candle up. So the market's currently up 21%. So we're beating the market by about 5% currently, which basically goes into the same statistic that most money management is all going to end up being very similar to the returns of the market, if not better. Or if not worse, sorry. So anyways, back over to this. All right, so we have large cap growth, large cap blend, mid cap, large cap, mid cap. So what I'll probably have to do is maybe kind of like make a video about this and show you all the things that we're invested in. But if you dive into each, you'll see we have ETFs, Facebook, Adobe, Lululemon, a couple other random ones in there. I'll pop back. You'll see a couple things you guys are familiar with, most likely. Here's a large cap blend: Costco, Pepsi, American Tower, Microsoft, Waste Management. Whenever I go back, it doesn't work. That's kind of annoying. Mid cap growth here. Probably a couple names you guys are familiar with. The Trade Desk, Vanguard ETF, Exchange Rate Fund. Can I just click that? That's the better way of doing it. Large cap value. All right, so when we go into here, large cap value, Cisco, ExxonMobil, iShares Trust, Pharmaceutical ETF. So again, there's a lot of things, but this is pretty much an engulfed portfolio of the market. Let's see, what else do we have? We cover mid cap value, Kroger, Laboratory. So again, this changes based on what we think is going to be best, what they think is going to be best. So again, like I said, I will in a couple weeks here, we're going to be putting together a Webull platform. So that was one of my main investment accounts. I still have one with TD. I have a SEP IRA with TD Ameritrade. I have a Roth IRA with T. Rowe Price Investments. I still have my Lightspeed account. Still have some money in Robinhood. So there's a couple other retirement accounts I have aside from that one, but that's a pretty active one that has a lot of different investments in it. So again, that kind of gives you an idea as far as where I have a lot of money at. So again, there you have it. So I guess this would be a good time to tell you because you basically saw a bunch of money I have. So between that, all my other investment accounts, trading accounts, rental properties, yeah, never mind. But yeah, I have a decent amount of wealth. Nothing super significant, but a decent amount. And then that's the other thing too, is all the money that I have is usually always invested somewhere, or I have cash that's waiting to be invested, because realistically I'm an entrepreneur, so all the money I have is meant to make me more money. I don't have a boss that gives me a paycheck for services provided. Everything I do has to make me money, hopefully, so that I can continue my lifestyle and live the way I would like to live. So that's the other kind of give and take of being an entrepreneur, is you have to try to manage your money really well. Try to not make too many mistakes along the way and blow yourself up. Whew. DYAI on the upside again? We'll take a peek at it. Let me take a little gander. And that's what, in like that account that you just saw is like a good example of why I always emphasize long-term investing. Like, again, I'm just popular for videos on trading, because I've never really made any videos of anything else, because this has always been something that I find is easy to discuss, and it's usually pretty interesting, pretty popular. So it's just, everyone just knows me for day trading and investing that perspective, but realistically my life started off with long-term investing, and my goal is always mainly long-term investing. So that's just nothing that we typically talk about. All right, BNGO, let me take a peek at it. I know we discussed that the other day, which, by the way, would be a good time to say, I think yesterday I sold my little position I had in there. That happened it happened after I was offline. So you remember yesterday we talked about I was long on like this day, and then I bought a little more the other day. Well, I ended up selling just yesterday for a loss of $1.42. I lost like half a smidge of percent. And the reason I sold is because, if you notice, we started to crack back down below that half deviation. The analysis was of yesterday is if we could clear, these highs, obviously it would pop. But in order to do so, the market needed to sustain its pullback above its half deviation price, which existed at about 617. So again, I closed my trade as the markets were starting to shift through that 617 price. So with BNGO, no breakout, I closed. We're still sitting and waiting at this point. Yeah, so it's 10:37. Let me pull up my scanners just to make sure there isn't anything moving that we should know about. Which there is a stock that's moving. It's called Ronnie, which was actually the name of my old neighbor. Their kids used to throw rocks at me as I rode my dirt bike down the street. That was a fun time. It was even more fun when I got off my dirt bike and I punched one of their kids in the face for throwing rocks at me while I was riding a dirt bike on a concreted road. I think my actions were justified. So, what was I looking at? Rami, that's right. Oh, Ronnie, R-A-N-I, that's right. What do you know? Thinkorswim just absolutely sucks. Doesn't even know how to type a ticker symbol incorrectly. No, but seriously, that did happen. I would ride my dirt bike around my subdivision, and it was only a 7-house subdivision, very small community, and then yeah, they thought it was cool to throw rocks at me while I was riding my dirt bike. But I can assure you that stopped very quickly after I got off my dirt bike. And I actually sort of instigated it because I kept riding around after they were throwing rocks at me, basically giving them the opportunity to use what was inside their brain to stop doing it. But eventually they didn't realize that they should stop doing it, so there needed to be more action to take place. Ronnie. Yeah, sorry, back over to this. This is blown up for sure. There is some news. Ronnie Therapeutics Holdings shares halted on circuit breaker. Daily Biotech FDA rejects fibrogens, anemic drugs, and and positive rebound. I don't even know why this is ripping up. I really don't know. But nonetheless, it does appear that RANI does have probably some resistance coming right now. I can't say for sure. This thing looks really hot. It's a recent IPO stock. Sometimes these don't really follow rules as good. So anyways, I will say that my resistance zone for RANI currently is all these red lines that I'm putting on the chart. So give me a second. Yeah, so for right now, I'm going to say that pretty much anywhere in this box, given the market structure, is a good selling location. I don't know if the stock's going to rip to 40, 50 bucks, but I would say that there's a good chance of pullbacks around the corner within that zone. More specifically, the red selling, I believe, would start to occur at that red line or that red line. So my two specific focal points would be the prices of like 28.50s, 28.60s to like basically 32. I do still ride. I ride mini bikes. I don't ride big bikes. I never really rode big bikes as a kid. I always grew up on like little pit bikes. Not that I can't drive a big bike, but I don't. And I'm a little older to the point where I don't really see the need to drive a super fast dirt bike, because the only really reason you need that is to rip jumps, and I don't plan on doing that. So I do have fun riding around pit bikes and things like that. But hello from Sweden. Welcome. Hello. Hi. How are you? Laugh out loud, Pete. Adderall is needed. Yeah, you know what? You and my fiance are in line. My fiance has been trying to get me to take Adderall or Vyvanse or some sort of stimulant for years now. I used to be prescribed when I was a kid. I do have extremely bad ADHD, if you haven't figured that one out by now. But I have really bad ADHD. But I basically refuse to take drugs for it because, well, you guys are probably old enough to figure that one out. It's just not good. So I try my best to avoid that. But there are moments where I almost break and I'm like, I really should do some, because I would crush it. But then I'm always like, maybe not. I like to sleep and I like to eat, so it's not. So anyways, I do have ADHD. I'm supposed to be prescribed medicine. I refuse to take the medicine, and here we are. All right, so here is our friend, RANI. It gapped. It started with the halt. Now it's open. We're into that zone I told you about. We just spiked up to the price of 28, 29-ish, where we suggested a selling level would be at. Let's see if it's true. A little bit of selling pressure there starting. Let's see if it's enough. Can't short this stock, so it's not like we could bet bearish on this even if we wanted to. No deviations available for trading view that at least are really, really good. That a boy. We used to do live trades sometimes. There will be a couple trades that we call out live here, but if you're really interested in live trading, we then highly suggest you opt into our Elites trading program. The title says how to live trade, which is kind of clickbaitish. That's why I have it as live analysis. But the objective is really to get as many people, whether we have to use clickbait or not, is to get as many people into this stream as possible so that they're really starting off their analysis on a really good approach. So, if we have to use clickbait to get people into a stream to learn accurate ways of analyzing the market, then so be it. But, all said and done, they'll be significantly happier once they click on the video. So anyways, you can see that clearly the analysis does work that we're telling you, because you will see that the price of RANI came up and peaked over our level by about 30 cents, but then sold right down off that red level. Yeah, I haven't traded probably for like the last 30 minutes. The last trade I did was ORPH, which was a short. So that was the last thing I did, which was up at like here, shorted that one. Didn't redo this short, but it worked. You know, nonetheless, we said when this crashes, it probably falls back down to these red lines. So we just did that, which means ORPH is more on the side of a bounce than it is more of a sell right now. So Sam, if you bought the yearly stream, then we gave automatic enrollment to our Elites live trading room. So if you're on the yearly program with time left on your subscription, we sent you an email that provided a link to join the live trading room of the Elite. So you're basically just being upgraded into the Elite service for X amount of period of time to cover the cost of your subscription that you'd still have, essentially. Do I have stop losses set in long-term accounts? No, we do not. Nope, we don't set stop losses for the most part, and there's reasons why. I mean, yes, there are stop losses in the sense that there is a price point at which we don't want to have an investment, but at the end of the day, you don't put stop losses on your chart because stop losses are an order that goes to the market that tells the market makers exactly what you're trying to do. So we don't put out stop losses because, yes, what you think is true. Market makers do see your orders. They do use that to move the market. And yes, it's legal manipulation. Literally, the job of the market maker is to legally manipulate the market. When you put out a stop loss order, it's not a stop loss order. It's just an order. To you, it's a stop loss because you're stopping your loss. But really, it's just an order. And that order is a sell order. And that sell order is online. And the market maker sees that order. And the main job of a market maker is to provide liquidity in transactions and keep a fluent market, so to speak. By you putting out a sell order, you raise your hand and go, hey, Mr. Market Maker, I want to sell my order. And since literally when he got hired, his job description is to fill orders, he is going to do his best job to give you that fill. Hence why a lot of times you get stopped out, because you're literally asking the market maker to stop you out. Makes sense now? Thumbs up. Lego. And that might have sounded kind of douchey when I was saying it. I apologize. I've just explained it so many times that I can usually just be clear cut with it now. There's no, well this, well that. No, that just is what it is, what I told you there. Yeah, you will notice that I generally don't do preset prices. Well, let me put it this way. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could do a preset sell price, but then it's the same thing. It's the market maker knowing that like for example, if you were short or if you were long a stock and you thought it was going to go to X price and then you put a sell order at X price, then that's a sell order, right? And the market maker knows that it's there, all right? So, not that he doesn't want to fill your order, right? Actually, this is kind of confusing, the way I'm saying this now. So, it is the same thing for a stop loss as it is for an entry. Yeah, same thing for an entry. Sorry. So, when you put out an order to buy a stock, right? If your order to buy the stock is in a shitty place, you'll probably get filled. If your order to buy the market is in the correct lowest risk possible point, then you won't get filled because that's where the market maker wants his fill. So what I mean by that is there's been many times where just by using standard deviation, we've been able to calculate like the absolute bottom or the absolute top of a move, but it doesn't do us any good to actually put our entries or exits there because the market maker won't give us the fill there because, for example, if the price was meant to go to $5 and it was then to bounce, that's it. If it was supposed to go to 5 and bounce, the market maker knows it and we know it. If we put our order there at 5, we're competing with the market maker. The market maker won't allow us to get that fill. Does that make sense? So you can't be too competitive with the market maker. You have to allow him to get his nut, and then he'll give you a little. So basically, if you knew it was going to go to 5, you're better off putting an entry at 503 or 502, because if it were to go to 5, the market makers are always the first in the bid-ask spread. You're not. So again, if it's supposed to go to 5, we put an entry at 5. Market makers are the first in the bid-ask spread. When it goes to 5, he's automatically first in line and you're second. He is going to buy, price will go to 502, your order's still at 5, you get no fill. And that's exactly how the market works. And it's designed that way so that the market can keep moving. Yep. Or another good way of putting it is if you put out a limit order to buy a stock as you think it's about to go up, you probably won't get filled. Because if the market is meant to actually go up, then why would the market maker shift the spread down to give you the fill just before it's going to move when the market can just move without you? The market maker doesn't want you to put in a bid to get a fill before it moves. The market makers want to use your orders to be the ones that juice the move. So if a stock is going to move a certain direction, he is going to not really give you a fill on a little dip, so to speak. Like, for example, if momentum is like going, like it's getting ready to go, then you need to put a limit order in up. You can't put a limit order in down, because if markets are moving up and you put a limit order in down, there's no point in them bringing it down when they can just keep going up, right? So market makers generally are trying to use your orders to move the market specific ways. So you either have to be in line with trend or not totally against them. If that makes sense. Okay, stock ACY. Also hit the scanner. I just want to take a peek at it. It's a move up. Wasn't this one that was overbought though? I appreciate everybody tuning in here. If we could do a little round through, get us up over that 500 mark on likes, that would be fantastic. So this is actually a price point at which we could probably expect ACY pulls back. You're up at 3 deviations, but you also hit it there and pulled back. You gotta hold off on that. Assuming pay for order flow, right? Famine, yeah, that could very well be why people sell before these levels, because and that's exactly it. I mean, you're right. Like, that's why a stock starts selling down early before something, and and a lot of times that's why a stock will break above a level just by a little bit, because there are people that don't know it's supposed to stop at a price level and they think it should keep going. So then they buy a bunch of stocks and actually pops through the resistance a little bit and then swings back down, because again, it's the market maker's job to fill the stock. So even if the market maker wanted to move the stock down off of $6, if there was a bunch of kids with bicycle helmets on trying to buy it at $6 and throwing in a bunch of market orders, well, he still has to fill those orders. And if he wants to bring it down, well, he's still got to fill those orders. He might pop the price above the resistance, give them a really high fill, and then run the market back down, use their selling orders to further press that move down. So there's a lot of games that they play, and it's a game. Nice, Russ. Very good job. Very good job. AMD on balls deep in calls. Well, there's worse places you could be balls deep. So, there is an upside to your comment. And that's the other thing, like Kurt said, he's a programmer, trust me. Yeah, nowadays, market makers, it's really just all computerized based algorithms with the guy there kind of looking at it. But for the most part, most of the computers do, most of the work for them. Zev, Z-E-V, let me go back and take a look at this. Like, if you really want to learn some stuff about the market too, go read a CMT book. That's a CMT book. What do I think of AMC? 1 second. Ed Trader, I'm insane, Connor. Why is that? What makes me insane? AMC, again, analysis is still pretty much the same as it was this morning. You would continue watching the market bearish on AMC. We have price targets of $25. We don't really care to buy it until it gets to $25. No, the course that I have, the day trading course, does not teach options. That is a part of the Elites trading program where you would work with Dave. Dave has lots of videos on options and also runs 2 weekly evening classes to teach options. So again, if you want to learn options, you're really looking at our Elites program as opposed to the course. I never really trade much of options. All that much, to be completely truthful. ACHL, that was that stock from earlier that I think I forgot about. Or that was the one that did that random pump. But look at the top there on RANI. See, like that is the objective of this stream, right? So this is the objective of the stream. Like we want to be like, you know, for example, like how great, for example, think about this, right? How great would it be if you could log in to CNBC every morning and the co-hosts of the show are watching the stock RANY and they tell you, yeah, there's a high degree that this stock is going to sell down around the price of $29. Do you imagine how, do you imagine what the viewers would think of that if CNBC were able to say, hey guys, your RANY as the stock is up 60, 90% today, but very well be careful as you reach the $29 price because that's most likely where it's going to sell down. See, that's what we want CNBC and mainstream media news to do for us, yet they just never do that for us. So that's really my objective with this stream, is to compete with them, that we can grow viewership so big, so much so that we're competing with some of the big mainstream media networks. That's really the objective. Read the CMT. It's the Chartered Market Technician book. It's like an exam. It's not fun, digestible reading. It's straight up stock market stuff. That's it. And I'm currently reading a book. I actually just bought it yesterday or 2 days ago. The PDF is on my phone. I wonder if it's still... I was reading it last night before bed, so there it is. That's not what I was looking for, but sure. Stock Market Trade Craft. Alternative strategies for absolute returns. Caution. This book is not, I repeat, not an idiot's guide, nor is it a book for dummies. This actually goes into some legit shit. I'd recommend that one too. So anyways, very interesting. Again, like I said, we've been at this for 2 weeks. Our stream numbers are still roughly about the same as they've been. We're doing the likes. We have decent looking thumbnails. The titles of our video are good. Our price targets on mainly all of our stocks are accurate. So thumbs up to that, ladies and gentlemen. So 2 books. One's a CMT book. That's what I'm studying for right now. It's an exam, which I'm actually studying really slow. But what do you expect when you run a business and you got a dog and you got a fiance and you're opening up another business and you got a rental property? I mean, there's just so much to do. So I'm studying a little slow, but Chartered Market Technician. It's a CMT book. And then there's also a new book I literally started reading last night. It's called, I already forgot it because it's kind of an odd name. It is Stock Market Trade Craft, Alternative Strategies for Absolute Returns. So that's a good one. Just Google it. You're going to have to Google it. They'll send you a PDF of it. DYAI halted? Really? That happened? Damn, son. What garbage. Gosh, I hate the market sometimes. It's so annoying. But again, that's the way it works. See, what happened was is that a bunch of people shorted this thing, and those are the short sellers getting squeezed out. So when you bet bearish and you're wrong, you cover the position, you buy it back. So this is a form of a bunch of short squeeze. This is a short squeeze. This is less of a breakout move, more of a short squeeze. All right, so these were people that shorted, added on this, added short on this. Market did not continue fading and breaking down, so they're all squeezing out. The market maker is using their orders to blow the price up. The market maker will most likely blow this price up to well, for one, it already did, right? Look at this. Remember earlier how we said, like, this is your resistance mark? Well, look at where you were and look at where it went, those two red lines. So the market maker used all the people shorting the stock to squeeze the market back up to these marks. So the market makers use your orders to move the markets in the form of deviations. So if this is a true legitimate breakout over the high of 585 on DYAI, then you really should see a price of like 520 soon. And if the price goes up to 520 here after this breakout, then that would be the exact reason why our stream seems to stay at about the same amount of numbers. We can't have too many people knowing about it. No problem, Justin. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Bro, mRNA, where is it gonna go? All right, let's take a peek at Dover mRNA. Holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big one. See, like I said, I only projected a move to 420. We continued going further. So at this point, you pretty much just let this thing keep falling until it reaches a deviation that it actually bounces. So in this instance, I don't have any support on deviation down until, damn it, whatever that was. What is that? 386 to 350. I can promise you that if this falls to 350, we're going to get a good bounce there. So you just keep tuning in the channel. There goes DYAI hitting a high of 595. Can it reach our price target of 520? That would be the main objective. Wait. Yeah, wait, hold on. All right, and there goes the move up to, it hit 515. The target was 522. So again, there you go. Market makers using short sellers and buyers to run the market up to 520. I would be surprised if it gets through 520 right now. It probably shouldn't do that. So don't try to trade this anymore on the long side over the 520. You're just going to lose money. Okay, so if you have a 25% position on mRNA, you still want to catch some downside, this is probably what I would say to you. You got to be a little lenient with it, because if you're trying to catch more downside, you have to be optimistic. You have to be understanding that maybe you do get caught in some random bounce. But if this is going to continue lower, I would probably keep a stop, right? I would keep a stop around the price of like maybe pretty much over this green line. So over that green line there. All right, because if the market were to retrace off a counter trend bounce, it's going to target back to the green line, or there's a really good chance it does, hits resistance there, and then it falls down again. So the green line right now, and or this red line I'm pointing at, would be the counter trend bounce back to resistance before it comes back down. So theoretically, you could still risk a counter trend move up to about 433, and then only if it's crossing that green line and holding above should you get nervous, and so on and so forth. If you look at the daily chart too, the daily chart too just shifted to dark blue TTM, which does suggest that there's bearish momentum in the stock now. So I think you can still ride this down a little bit further. I'm not going to buy it. There's another good way of thinking about that, right? I'm not going to buy this yet, right? I'm still waiting for this to go down. All right, so So think about it like that, right? I don't think the compute. If I'm not ready to buy, a lot of times it means computers aren't ready to buy. So I still think this has some downside, but you'd have to be able to at least let this retrace back up to like 435 or so. But at this point, maybe you target to the 350s, because I'm looking at this and thinking, well, now I don't think I'll try to really buy a dip or a counter trend bounce until we get to 385 to 350. But anyways, that's going to be my next long zone, is probably 350s, this area. Non-copyright bars. mRNA is going down. Where are the bulls that can't be found? Whoa, whoa, wicka chicka whoop. So anyways, yeah, it's about 11 o'clock. I think we're going to end the stream there. Another great day here on the stream, being able to call price targets accurately. Hopefully people are making money along the way with this. Appreciate your guys' support. All we ask is you hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Share the streams to family and friends. It doesn't appear that we get much exposure and or help from the YouTube algorithm. It's probably because they don't want people to see this sort of information. It's a little too accurate. That's the conspiracy side to me. So whether or not you think it, believe it, who knows? It's hard to say, but we do need your support on getting the stream popular, because we don't get the same love that other creators do on YouTube, unfortunately. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you guys back bright and early tomorrow morning when the mentoring is online and everything is good. I will let you guys know. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys bright and early, 8 a.m. in the morning, wherever my stream thing is. There we go.